physically.
Yeah, remind me, I need to show you something.
Okay.
I think we're gonna go with 3 pieces of frame. You know, these are way too long. You might need a little bit of fine tuning, but our guide one's right in the middle. I feel pretty good about that, Chad. Even though they use lasers and computers, Winnebago roofs aren't completely dead on straight or anything, right?
True.
So Chad's going to go ahead and use the spray foam to fill in all the voids that Winnebago left on the structure of the foam roof. All these wire channels will fill in. While he's doing that, I made a mark on the foam here. This is where we're going to embed our aluminum bows that we just made as framing. There'll have to be one there at one of the AC there, one of the AC there, and one at where that spar was supposed to be, or where that spar is that was way too low, because that was the lowest point of the roof right here, because right where Chad is the wall. So all I have to do is use my heat gun and cut it out. Just like that. We've done that before and it works pretty well. Chad's gonna play with orange foam.
Tape all those huge foot. Why so big? Unnecessary.
And then this method takes a long time because after this foam cures, we still have to come back and sand it flush because we have to have a nice smooth surface to relaminate. So this is not ideally to do this, but Winnebago didn't give us a lot of options. Now, although this method may be a little bit imprecise, we're making a channel a little bit bigger than the frame's going to fit in anyways. That way we can glue the frame in using our foam, and hopefully now you can see how thin this foam is. That's the AC ductwork I was talking about that's embedded in the foam itself all the way down. That's why we can't go much thicker than that, because then we'll block the AC flow. So this bottom side will become the top of the duct channel, but then the foam will seal everything off. Right, Chad?
Right.
You're making really good progress there. You know, everybody's jealous of you. Everybody wants to do this.
This is like the man satisfying videos.
Yes. But the good news is that I can use these pieces to fill in the gaps over here. And now Chad won't be dumping foam into this wall cavity. Wow. Think Winnebago went crazy with that? I mean, they use computers. They can make the parameters different for each roof.
It was on that foam. Foamer.
It's called recycling.
It's true. That's what you want to do with foam.
All right, so here's the plan. Notched out a few channels of styrofoam using my patented soldering iron method. We bent up a few pieces of aluminum tubing. Now I'm just going to have to cut those to length, have it rest on the threshold of the sidewall framing down there, screw it down, and then we'll foam it in with the rest of the foam we're doing back there. Right, Chad?
Yep.
Yeah, this will work. Now, because Winnebago ran so many cables and wires through this little channel right here, in order to put the framing down, we'll have to notch out the foam to spread those wires out, which is a little bit extra work. It kind of hit both Chad and me a little bit. Maybe to bring it up to attention to Winnebago, this is Romex that goes to the roof AC. I don't know if you can see how that Romex is melted into the foam, almost like the Romex wiring itself is getting hot and making its own channel in the foam. And I found that happened on this wire over here too. You can see the styrofoam is melted to the Romex, almost like that Romex is getting so hot, it's actually able to melt the foam like I'm doing with my hot wire here. But the good news is the insulation's not melting, so that's the good news. You're so good. Make me miss this. Oh, you got it just in time.
2 more to do.
2 more? 5 more.
I already got 2.
What?
Spoon's done.
Oh, you already put it on both ends?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, so we're just adding a little bit of wood. I can't go all the way across because it's got a bow in it, but having the wood right there, when I notch it out and we screw it down, it'll keep the ends from flaring out. Hopefully. That's my plan. But you can kind of see the notch right there. That's going to come out, and that'll go on top of the header of the sidewall. Can't take that from you. Knives don't fall, fix everything.
They can.
All right, so
Hammers do.
look at that. It's all notched out. Now we just do a test fit. I only have 2 more to do after that. It's definitely starting to set up nicely. A bandsaw? We tried a bandsaw. All right, now remember, I measured this, so it might be tight. Is it tight?
We need to take off 1/16 of an inch off the surfaces.
Well, but if you hammer it, have you tried hammering it? Not with your mallet.
With my meat mallet?
No.
Up and downstairs.
Ready? You in on your side?
I'll start it.
So obviously the contour is not perfect, but
Well, we're also low still here.
yeah, we still need to raise the roof over there. And proof of concept is always the important part.
The jams to step across it.
Very nice. I think this is going to work, Chad.
Yeah, this too.
Let's do 3 more of these, or 2 more. 2 more.
2 more.
2 more. 1 there and there. All right, so Chad's just going to drill some holes on that side. All right, and then go with a bigger bit. I think that's like 1/4, because you have to make it big enough for these screws to go through. We'll countersink it, and then we'll end up with that product right there. And then there's a countersink bit. To widen it for those guys. And there you go.
Now I make it through? Okay.
You questioning my 15-year-old Craftsman drill impact?
Yes. Yes, I am. Like I do every time I have to use it.
Never give up. Never give up on it. Don't give up on it. Don't give up on it. Oh my goodness, it survived.
Well, that's good enough for me.
Well, you gotta do the other, put the threads in on the other one, right?
Well, I can do that after I eat the foam.
Okay, fine, whatever. Tempt fate like that.
I'm tempted.
Alright, so we do have it glued underneath. So this should mount to here. We just need to put a weight on there to kind of weight it down for the evening and do. Alright, ready to put a weight on?
Yeah, I want a little more foam around this back edge though.
You sure? Because we're going to put a weight and we don't want to glue the weight to it. You want to put it on the side? Do whatever you want to do. I'm here for whatever you want to do. We'll still have to trim this thing because that's still actually sitting proud. You want me to put some more?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Okay. Anything right about there? No, we need more weight, I guess. I'm sure we're not the first RV technicians to use batteries as weights. In fact, I know I did this before on a shower pan years ago. So we're just going to let that one cure up. We're going to do the next 2 braces the same way. And then tomorrow we'll be able to trim all this extra foam. And we'll add the spacer foam blocks right here. And and start laminating with the Luan. Kind of successful day. All right, so it's the next day, and it's starting to get cloudy and stormy, but let me get my weights off of here. It feels pretty good. Actually feels really good. We look from the side. I don't think we could have done better if we had the factory make those for us. So Chad and I are against a little bit of a ticking clock right now, so need to get the next 2 frames put in. They'll go in the same way. We'll finish gluing and foaming up the roof, trim it flush, and then hopefully we'll be laminating today if it doesn't rain. I'm just having a lot of fun wasting this foam, but this is actually pretty important. Each one of these hollows becomes a weak point in the lamination between the foam and the Luan paneling, and we need all the strength we can get on this. And the crack in between the 2 pieces of styrofoam is also another weak point. So this is allowing me to glue those 2 pieces of styrofoam together for the bordering, creating one big monolith that should hopefully be a lot stronger when we're all said and done. Also, as a side note, we'll seal out those AC ducts from leaking air into the roof cavity. It is a lot of fun too. You are supporting.
You have to be gentle right here.
You don't have to be gentle.
That's where the duct is.
Oh yeah, also, no it's not, it's right there.
Yeah, so I said you have to be gentle right there.
Also, I might have broke that right there. You have to fill the channel completely, but you didn't get it under the wires. We got aggressive cutting out the foam under the wires because it's a lot of wires. Oh my gosh! You can be aggressive after the fact. Oof. Okay, so we got framing in there, and framing in there, just one more frame to go. Body working styrofoam. Of all the things we do. That's good. Alright, so I'm just ripping down this high density insulation foam, the purple stuff, to make the spacer blocks that we did on the last one. And so this stuff will all get glued down and act as a filler, so that when we put the Luan on top, it's going to be glued to something too, and not just dangling into space. At least that's the plan. Seemed to work last time. Alright, so I think we have this roof ready to be laminated now. You can see all the foam that we filled in. And then you can see the 1, 2, 3 frame members we put in, with the 2 of them being right where the AC is going to be to hold the weight of it all. But I think the crown is back up there pretty well. Now, Winnebago roofs still do have a little bit of a wave to them the entire length, so we're never going to get it perfect, but I feel pretty good about this, and we're ready to laminate it. We're going to probably start at the back, then work our way forward with the Luan. We've seen this probably enough, right? Hopefully when we check in next, we'll be putting the pylon down. Before we skip to that part, there might be some people that have never seen this before. Just using 2.7 millimeter Luan paneling. That's going to get glued down to the foam. We're using Stay-Bond 183 It's a foam safe adhesive that'll glue the glue on to the styrofoam, which all right inconveniently shipped in a 5-gallon bucket for me, but that's $183 from Stay Bond. We'll be spraying it out of this gun right there, filling up the pot. It is contact adhesive, so we need to spray both surfaces. And usually on this paneling, there's a good surface and a not so good surface. So we like the not so good surface to be down. So the good surface is against the new Phylon fiberglass. And then these roofs are a little bit different than the standard Winnebago roof. Bigger extrusion on the side, so they can mount awnings easier if they needed to. So this one's going to be coming all the way to the end of the lip right there. You can see there was double-sided tape holding it on before. We will be gluing it on this time. Unfortunately, the point from there to there is about 94.5 inches. So these are 8 foot long, so we have to be trimmed off like just by an inch or two, maybe 2 inches. So other than that, that's how it's going to be, one panel at a time all the way down. Glug, glug, glug. Sprayed that one, spraying the foam. Well, there's the first one down. I don't know, 7 more to go. Now we can check in later. You're very loud, Cub. Alright, so all the decking's down, blue one's down, it looks pretty good. Just gonna find the center line, roll out the Phylon, make sure it's all centered on there, and then we'll laminate it using our Stay Bond 440. It says it's red, but I think it goes down orange. We've done this an awful lot, so we're gonna skip to the good part where it's all done, right? Alright, just like that, it's done. Well, at least the Phylon's down. And where I can put the supports, I can feel them. It's very, very sturdy right there where the AC goes, and of course right here where it was falling down. Like all these roofs, the next step is to cut the radius to length because it needs to be tucked down into this gutter right there. Now this one is probably about 1.5 inches too long, so that'll have to be cut all the way down, then tucked in. Oh, don't step right there, there's nothing there. And the back cat has to go back on. There's some body work they have to get done on it. But what I do know is that this roof will never be as perfect or pristine as it was when it left the factory. We do still have supports in the middle supporting the roof. We're going to keep those in until we're completely done. But I'm very, very confident walking on this that we solved the problem of the roof collapsing around that AC. Usually when you do one of these roofs, it looks the worst when it's just the fiberglass down. Once you start putting all the attachments in, cutting all the holes and sealing it all up, it starts looking just like the factory had it. But I don't want anybody to think that it's a flawless installation. The roof does do that a little bit, and you should be able to see a little bit of a hump right there where those 2 braces are that we installed. But that's very, very strong now. So I hope when it's all done, it'll look really good. Besides, they still have to do all the body work and paint the radiuses now because it's a full body paint job. All right, look at that. We already got the radiuses tucked in there. Chad's just putting in the ProFlex on his side. Because remember, on a Winnebago roof, there's nothing that actually holds the edge in. It just gets wrapped over, tucked into the molding down there. And then we use ProFlex from GeoCell to act as a sealant and as an adhesive. So we're just going to go ahead and put it between the molding and the radius and kind of glue the edge down and allow the edge to be flexible and move around if it needs to, but also glues it down and keeps it from popping up in the wind, hopefully. That's why this is the most important thing to check on a Winnebago roof. The sealant on the top is generally okay, but if this sealant cracks or falls apart, there's nothing holding this edge down other than friction. So if wind comes up, it will rip it up, and then you need a new roof. It's good design, Winnebago. And then Chad's just over there tooling it to make it look a little bit nicer. A little bit nicer. This whole side's gonna get painted anyways. I do like to see it ooze up a little bit, and that means it's getting spread out with the spring pressure. So now when I try to push this thing back, oh, you can kind of see how it pulls the sealant with it. So just do that one more time over on this side. Man, that's a good looking roof. You do good work, Chad.
You do it, James.
All right, Chad, you ready to do this?
We're ready.
All right, so you're gonna drop those supports, right?
Yeah, we're gonna drop supports and see if all of our hard work's for nothing or not.
I'm sure it's gotta work. All right, so you're gonna do those first? All right, you want me to be on the roof? All right, go ahead. All right, well that's a good sign because I didn't notice that it dropped.
Didn't move at all.
That's good. They're gonna cut some holes. To cut the holes, they have to drop the supports on the inside. I'm ready. All right. Let me know when you do it. All right, I didn't see any movement whatsoever. So look at that gap on top of the slide out. I can't wait to bring it in to see
If it's touching
if
right
we
there
have any
anymore?
touching where it's been rubbing right. There. You know, these landscaping timbers worked out pretty well.
I think we're gonna keep them. You're not smarter than me.
I'm not, I know. Well, think of it this way. Now you can see the support that we put in at the AC. This one's harder to see, but it's right there too. And you guys might be able to see the repairs to the AC ductwork, and they're better than me. That worked out pretty well.
I'd say so.
But yeah, so now try to push up on the roof.
Yeah, no,
No?
not gonna happen.
Hey, it's not all floppy like it was before. Alright, so I'm gonna walk on it gingerly. And now I just found the skylight right there. So that's the shower wall. And the AC is right there. That's where the AC goes. It feels solid. Feels really good. I mean, I know I can definitely see the supports, but really solid up here, Chad.
Winnegabo.
I think it'll hold an AC okay. It's held the James okay. So that's good news. It looks like our support actually worked out okay. So now we know how to fix these in the future. And it does seem like with these Winnebago roofs, we'll be doing this a lot more than we want to. You got it?
Yep. So that one has 2 woods.
2 woods?
Yeah. 4 wood?
Hey, look at that. Nice and strong. Good job.
Alright. So it was actively... We never got a baseline of how low it was with the slide out before. But,
We all the way in?
yeah, that's it.
Woo-wee!
That's an even gap.
That's like at least 2.5 inches.
Yeah.
Dang, that was really good. God dang, guy, you do such good work, Chad.
It's a collaboration. Minds.
Synergy. All right, I have to go down the street. Chad and Mike will probably cut out all these holes and get everything installed, and then we'll check back in tomorrow. And I imagine it'll be perfect. So luckily, there weren't too many openings on this roof. They already have them cut out. The skylight that we already noted was, I think, an aftermarket one. It did look like aftermarket one to me. Winnebago uses self-leveling silicone as a lap sealant, so that means on our flanges for our actual vent seals, we're going to just be using 100% silicone as a flange seal. They already found the sewer vents right there, so we'll get those installed. That's going to be an AC. That's going to be another vent right there, which is right there. I think these had vent covers on them too. But that's an AC, and that's an AC. And this is really turning out very nice. Before you know it, we're going to be done. Ooh. I bet those go right about there. Oh, you got unions right there. Everybody always asks me how do we fix that, but it's just ABS.
Fix what?
Well, the cut ABS.
Oh, you union on it.
You put a union on it. It's ABS plumbing. It's
Oh,
like
that
you can
foam.
glue it. It's very simple.
That foam does stick really good to the bottom of the blue one, by the way. I thought I totally missed that hole saw
Uh-huh.
because it would not like come up.
Uh-huh.
So I was prying out. I was like, I hope I cut this right.
Uh-huh.
And popped off, and sure enough, it stuck really, really.
Oh, that was glued down with a.
Well, I spray foamed around the pipes. 'Cause
Right.
I was spray foaming, so might as well.
Well, you found those really nice. I thought it was very impressive. That's doing my method.
Yeah,
you mark it right there. That way, when you get the silicone, you know exactly where to put the silicone on the roof, and then when you screw it down, it oozes out. Just like right there. You can even see his marker right there. That's true. You can actually see the seal all the way underneath right there. No missing spots, no voids. 'Cause that is the actual seal. The lap sealant on top just redirects water, right, Chad?
Secondary.
And here we go. We're just using our favorite truss screws, or our lath screws, or washer-headed wood screws. You guys have seen this roof. There's only 1/8 inch of paneling. So those are really just clamps waiting for the adhesive to cure. But definitely make sure you are not using Dicor self-leveling lap sealant on a Winnebago roof, because this will not stick to silicone. And because we're reusing the vents up there, they will definitely have some residue of silicone on them. So don't use Dicor on a Winnebago roof. Oh. Nice. You guys have seen us put a roof together more than enough times to figure out that we're going to put the front cap on and then the rear cap and the ladder on. Luckily, we did embed metal into the roof this time that Winnebago didn't, so we're trying to make it a little bit better than Winnebago for some reason. Almost like we don't want to have to do this again. We'll get this side painted, and then we'll hopefully take a look at it when it's done. This 2014 Winnebago Sightseer roof collapse has been one of the hardest roofs we've had to repair. I'm actually really confident that our repair is going to hold up. Now, we just utilized this aluminum 1.5 by 1 square tubing aluminum. It's actually pretty thick stuff. I was afraid it would be a little bit too thick to bend. But even using this tubing bender right there with the widest mandrels on it, worked out really, really well. It was a fairly delicate process of bending each one because the roof had deformed so much in each area. The roof had deformed so much, but differently at each area, that we did have to customize each one of those spars or trusses. But I think it's a very, very good repair, so much so that I almost feel like Winnebago should be installing some framing in these roofs now. So I'm just going to let the guys finish up doing the solar panels, the TV antenna installation, and there's a little bit more painting that needs to be done back there on the rear cap. But then we'll check back in and we'll see this roof all completed. Man, it's strong. What did we verify and learn yet again about these Winnebago roofs from about 2013 to 2018 so far? Winnebago seems to be having a glue or adhesive problem, where the glue on this wood paneling is not sticking to the styrofoam. And that right there is the entire lamination and bond of the roof. Now, unfortunately, I wasn't able to show us ripping off the roof, but the Phylon is sticking really quite well to the Luan. So the fiberglass is sticking very well to the wood itself. That's not where the delamination is. The lamination is the adhesive failure right here from the Luan to the foam. That's why the roof was so weak. There was just absolutely no structure to it anymore. And that's why when it was pulled off, we couldn't pull it off in sections like you normally would want to, because it was already loose the entire length of the entire RV. Normally we have to separate the Phylon from the Luan and the Luan from the styrofoam. But Winnebago has a glue issue. With that wood loose from the styrofoam, the whole roof just collapsed down, especially under the weight of the AC. And it's deformed. So we went out of our way with this 2014 Sightseer to reform the roof, adding trusses, adding framing, from being complete and total junk, because without a roof, you don't have an RV. And it's extremely unfortunate because this Winnebago is only 8 years old. But to call that unfortunate is definitely something of an understatement. But let's go ahead and get on the roof and see what it looks like now that it's finished. Although I did say it was finished, the roof is done, but they still have to put the camera back on and put the ladder back on. They did go ahead and repaint this rear cap, as they had to repaint the radius anyways. It was a good opportunity to do that. And if you guys remember, the front cap was also peeling, so we went ahead and repainted that too. Well, those gentlemen over there did all the paint work on this. All right, so we're gonna get on this roof. Now there's some moisture on the roof, so I gotta be careful. It's not ice, but let's take a look at that. Wow, I'm still impressed. So if you guys remember correctly, the entire front area right there was a depression at the AC. Down about 2.5 to 3 inches as the low point of the roof, which of course was the ridge line of the roof, which should have been the high point. With the moisture on the roof, you should be able to see 1, 2, 3 structures we put into it. It's the aluminum framing that we put across, and man, this thing feels incredibly strong. And you can feel where the strength is. If we take a look at the AC itself, it's no longer the low point, which is fantastic. But this is not the first time we've seen the lamination of that extreme on Winnebagos. It does seem to be something of an issue that Winnebago's not talking about. I don't know that I should ever have to add framing to an engineered lamination like this. The good news is it does seem to work. We are a little bit muddled. It's not a completely smooth transition between the framing and the foam. That's a pretty good looking roof line now too. There's not a lot of waviness like it was before. You can definitely see there's a crown on it now, matching the rear cap. But even if we didn't have to add that framing up front right there, Winnebago's kind of going way out of control with the amount of foam that they're removing from all the channels for the wire run. If you remember right about here, there were 3 great big huge hollow pockets right in the middle of the roof that is taking away a lot of the strength, because the styrofoam laminated to the Luan is where the roof's getting all its strength. And then of course this wire run on this side was also just as equally wide, because they were putting way too many wires right down the middle of the roof right there too. I feel like they should be separating out those wire runs quite a bit too. Now I can honestly tell you, and you should be able to see, it's not a smooth transition between the 2 frame points right there. It is a little bit low right there. We did have to sculpt the foam quite a bit. We went with minimally expansive foam because we didn't want to, we're not trying to stress anything out. We're just trying to glue the roof together and glue the trusses to the frame, to the styrofoam itself, and then repair all the damage and broken foam that we could. It takes a little bit of effort to sculpt all this. I can tell you this has been over a 2-week process. I've kind of lost my train of thought this entire time, and I hope this video is somewhat coherent. But overall, what I want you guys to take away from this video is, if you're looking at a Winnebago from 2013 to at least 2018, before you even consider buying it, get on the roof and walk the roof. You'll know immediately if there's an issue. You will feel it and you will see it. It will look like the 4x8 Luans underneath is just cupped and cupped and cupped. You'll see it almost immediately and you will feel it. Walk these roofs. It's absolutely going to be vital if you ever buy a Winnebago. And of course 2018 is just an arbitrary cutoff that I'm making, because I haven't seen anything newer have this problem, but I also assume that Winnebago hasn't changed their glue or their methods after 2018 to 2022. So for all I know, those are potential problems too down the road. Winnebago doesn't seem to be putting out any sort of information about their roof failures. So I want you guys to all be a little bit buyer beware on these. This is not the first one or the second one. There's at least the 15th one that I've seen personally. I think I've only taken you through at least 3 of them. But that's why I want you guys to be aware of it. It seems to be something of a plague coming from Winnebago. But I will leave you with this as a reminder. Self-leveling silicone is what we're using on the lap sealant here. We're not using Dicor. But of course, the most important check on a Winnebago after actually walking the roof and inspecting it is to come over here to the radius and make sure that the sealant is not gapped, missing, or peeling off, because this is what's gluing the radius down into there. Remember, these roofs just get tucked into the radius channel right there. And we're using ProFlex from GeoCell to kind of glue the radius down into the track. And you want to make sure you check that on every Winnebago. I know that between Me, Chad, Micah, and Scott, we learned an awful lot about Winnebago roofs yet again. But that was rebuilding and re-engineering a laminated Winnebago roof on this 2014 Winnebago Sightseer. Check these roofs, guys. I don't know what else to say. If there's anything you should learn from my channel, is always check an RV roof. Take it easy. Bye. Oh, one more thing. I'll probably be gone for I'm going to take a little bit of personal time myself, and it might be a week or two before I post another video. But I appreciate everybody that's been following me along on this adventure. It's crazy. Thanks a lot.
Ooh, drink it.
Oh, almost died.
You $1.
I can jump up and down on it now. Right here is where the AC is supposed to go.
As long as they don't go twisty on us.
Well, they crack instead of twist, right?
Oh, that's not how they're designed.
Who knows? Customer wants to take it out, so we're under the gun. They had 2 months to wait, but now when we start, right?
Then it's a rush.
Then it's a rush job. I have Juanito and Polo waiting for me to finish up. Hey! So they can finish washing this thing. But we're a little cold here today, this November morning. I mean, it's got to be like 55 degrees. It's mostly air anyways, right?
Like polystyrene?
Polystyrene, yeah. Styrofoam is a brand name, like drywall is a brand name for gypsum board. Is that right? People always like to correct people
it's like
that.
Bic.
Bic.
Yeah, like Bic's a lighter, but Bic's actually a company.
They make pens. It's Bic.
Yeah. Pens and lighters.
Bic.
Or Kleenex.
Kleenex. Levi's. Xerox.
Xerox.
They're all those business studies you do in what's that called? College?
I
Yeah.
don't know. Never did that.
Yeah. If you don't protect your brand name and people start using it as a substitute for generic, and you don't do anything to stop that, you don't have rights to your brand name anymore. That's what I heard. That's what they taught me in business school.
The business school?
Yeah. You think they let any RV tech just make videos and
Oh, shit. I guess you're right.
see?
I guess I need to go to business school.
Business school. All about serious business.
Or I should go to school in general. What you call classically trained.
Well, a YouTube university is much better anyways. You don't waste time with pointless electives. Do you need something to jam in right there?
Yeah.
I don't have anything to jam. There's always a screw somewhere in the lift, right?
Or a rivet shank.
What?
Banks are not open today, are they?
They're always open.
Oh, Happy birthday to you.